In today's video, Chael Sonnen thinks Joe Rogan was under the influence when he said Jorge Masvidal would beat Georges St-Pierre, and Beneil Dariush's coach sends a stern warning to Conor McGregor, plus more. Joe Rogan believes Jorge Masvidal is on another level, and had he been competing in Georges St-Pierre's era, he would have beaten the consensus welterweight GOAT. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the UFC's top commentator claimed that the competition Kamaru Usman fought during his reign as the UFC welterweight champion was way better than the competition Georges St-Pierre fought back in the day. In his illustrious welterweight career, St-Pierre fought the likes of Nick Diaz, Matt Hughes, and Johnny Hendricks, to name a few. But Rogan thinks the likes of Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, and Gilbert Burns are better than their old-school counterparts. This is what Rogan had to say. "I just think the level of competition Usman faced is higher. GSP was so good he raised the bar, but you look at GSP's victories, he beat some very good guys. But I think the guys Kamaru Usman beat, Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal, Tyrone Woodley, I think they're better." When asked whether Masvidal could have gotten the better of St-Pierre if he was fighting in his era, Rogan responded positively, saying that Gamebred is on another level compared to the French-Canadian. Masvidal couldn't be happier. This is what he had to say in response to Rogan, quote, "For him to consider me as one of the better fighters to have ever lived is a real-life notch for me right there. That guy, I consider him a true connoisseur of the sport. He calls it the way he is and stuff in fights. I don't think he's a biased dude, so I really enjoy his commentary as well. I just feel like that's awesome that he put me up there like that." Rogan's comparison drew a big reaction from the MMA community, prompting many to question his level of sobriety when he made the comments. Chael Sonnen was among the first people to question Rogan over his comments. Sonnen acknowledged Rogan as one of the best guys in the business, but the MMA legend also said that he thinks even the best can make mistakes at times.
That's not a rational statement. Joe Rogan is fantastic at his job, and when you talk a lot, you get some things wrong. He even put Masvidal over as an example that today's welterweights are far superior and they're better than Georges St-Pierre. Now, we should just dismiss this, and what Joe said and how he did this math is very common. But I would like to correct you to what a non-420 mind can come up with. Joe got to that point by stating that the competition is harder now than it was then. What does the competition have to do with the guy?
For Chael Sonnen, there isn't a welterweight on the planet who's better than Georges St-Pierre, and he has had first-hand experience of what GSP is capable of. Back in 2013, Sonnen had the chance to train with GSP, and he struggled to keep up with his strength and technique. That brings us to the question. If an All-American like Chael Sonnen struggled against Georges St-Pierre, what makes Joe Rogan think that Jorge Masvidal would have had a chance against him?
I know who the best fighter is, right? And I can't prove this, I don't need to be a about it, but I've been in there with them all. I know you're not supposed to tell practice room stories. But if it didn't go your way in the practice room, the rules are different and you can tell the story. George is the best. That's your answer. Ever.
The only reason why Sonnen thinks Rogan made those quote-unquote irrational comments is because maybe he was under the influence.
Which 170-pounder do you believe can take Georges St-Pierre down? What 170-pounder out there do you believe George cannot take down? I mean, let's just start with that. You cannot deduce one entity by drawing a conclusion to others. And if you do it, we should dismiss you. And we should tell the kids in the back seat, that guy is on drugs.
What do you think of Joe Rogan's comments and Chael Sonnen's response to them? Give us your thoughts in the comments. Conor McGregor has been warned that he would get absolutely steamrolled if he fights at lightweight. These comments were made by Rafael Cordeiro, who's helping top 5 lightweight contender Beneil Dariush prepare for his title eliminator against former champion Charles Oliveira. McGregor is expected to make his return to the octagon upon the conclusion of The Ultimate Fighter Season 31, where he's coaching opposite Michael Chandler. The fight between the two will likely take place at welterweight because the Irishman has put on quite a lot of muscle and he appears a bit too big for the UFC's 155-pound division. McGregor also recently said that he's eyeing the welterweight title, which is a good thing because Rafael Cordeiro thinks anyone in the lightweight top 15 would dominate him. Here's what the Brazilian had to say, quote, "There's Arman Tsarukyan, a super tough kid. There's Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, a lot of people. Rafael Fiziev, super tough guy. I'd much rather watch them fight than Conor. And everybody fights Gregor now for what he represents. He's lost that challenge thing. I want to fight Conor because he's tough and knocks everybody out. No, it's gotten to the point where people couldn't care less for that. I want to fight this guy because he generates good money. That's what they worry about. People worry more about those top 15 guys than Conor now, to tell you the truth. These top 15 guys today, they'd all swallow Conor. Nothing against Conor, but unfortunately, the time away, the leg surgery, the lack of motivation, the money, the drinking, looking swollen and booze, he's living life like crazy, so you lose the interest a little bit. When asked to give his thoughts on the upcoming fight between McGregor and Chandler, Cordeiro ironically said that McGregor will knock the former Bellator champion out. Chandler's currently sitting at the number 5 spot in the lightweight rankings. McGregor is someone Chandler had on his hit list the moment he signed with the UFC, and he's super excited for the matchup. When the cage door closes later this year, Chandler promises to give a performance of a lifetime. That said, do you agree with Rafael Cordeiro that McGregor will get swallowed by the lightweight top 15, bar Michael Chandler? Jeff Molina has relieved himself of a huge burden after recently coming out as bisexual. Molina's public statement wasn't voluntary. He never intended to publicly reveal intimate details of his personal life, but he was forced to do so when his intimate video with a man was posted online without his consent. The UFC flyweight was initially blackmailed by multiple people who demanded a hefty amount of money for removal of his video, after which Molina decided to issue a public statement coming out as bisexual. In his statement, Molina said that it wasn't an ideal situation for him, of course, because he wanted to keep his personal life completely separate from his professional one, but he'll continue being himself regardless. Naturally, Molina received quite a lot of hate after coming out, but the support he received was a lot more in comparison, and that's what matters to him at the end of the day.
Soon kind of changed, a couple hours went by, and I got an influx of support, and yeah, it was heartwarming to get messages from fellow athletes that are closeted, fellow UFC fighters that are closeted, people with notoriety, that were just like, hey man, it's an inspiration. It sucks on the terms that it happened, but you're an inspiration. It's inspiring for you to come out and be the first male UFC fighter to be out. And that definitely changed the tune of how I was feeling. It almost felt good to turn like a situation into a positive by knowing I'm inspiring people around the world. Like when I say it was more than just a dozen, it was at least 100 messages that from fighters, athletes, actors, musicians, just your regular Joe. It was that was pretty cool.
Molina is currently suspended by the Nevada Athletic Commission as part of the ongoing investigation into the betting scandal involving his longtime head coach James Krause, but he remains under contract with the UFC. Molina is 3-0 in the UFC, with his most recent win coming in 2022. That's it for today. If you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you can get notified the next time we upload one. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.